Here we are again talking, this time Amari Cooper traded to the Buffalo Bills. The impact is enormous. The Buffalo Bills are already playing at a fantastic level without really a top wide receiver or even pass catching option. Kincaid, as much as we love him right now, isn't producing. As much as Keon Coleman has upside, and he does, that might have been neutralized a little bit with this move. He hasn't exactly been what they need. Amari Cooper's a veteran, an absolute monster, and he hasn't been getting anything over in Cleveland because Deshaun Watson is absolute utter garbage. And the Browns doing more Browns things, giving up an absolute stud of a receiver because they can't go anywhere with Deshaun Watson. They can't even bench Deshaun Watson. The Browns are a joke of an organization right now, and the fan base knows that to be true. I'm not trying to pour salt in the wound. I'm not trying to say anything that's just, I don't know, going to ruffle feathers of a Browns community. The Browns fans know this. They made the worst acquisition, trade, and contract in the history of the NFL with Deshaun Watson, and they can't even bench him. But what they can do is send Amari Cooper and a 6th-round pick over to the Buffalo Bills, the probably lead dog contenders in the AFC. You know, the Chiefs obviously, but this is a situation where Buffalo now becomes a team that has every single piece that it needs to contend with the Chiefs, to contend with anybody in the NFC, the AFC, doesn't matter. This team now has a threat, a monster, a player that can take Josh Allen's passing game not only back to where it was with Diggs, but the fact that his running ability right now is above anybody else's. The way this guy scores touchdowns when he's near the goal line at all for the last 2 years has been insane, record-breaking. And now this guy, you're giving a Amari Cooper and a 6th-round pick go to the Bills, a 3rd-round pick and a 7th-round pick go to the Browns. Congratulations there, Cleveland. Way to go on that one.
Mashed potatoes.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
I tried to go out for some lunch. I came back early. This is my job. It's what I do. But whenever I try and leave, no matter what, this is what happens. Even earlier, I left, and then the Adams trade happened. I came back. I'm like, okay, I got to be good. The fantasy news gods, there's no way you can couple these two things together this quickly. But no, here we are. But that's okay, because I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. After breaking this news and going over the implications, the fantasy impact, Adams to the Jets, we're back talking about another big name wide receiver, Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills. Initial impact, Josh Allen increase in value by tons of different. Look, there's different levels to this. There's like, okay, maybe this takes away from some of his running necessity to run, keeps him healthy. I don't think he dials back, scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown on the ground and commanding that running stable is what he is. He's the top running back on the team. It's him and then whoever's behind him, whether it's Ray Davis or James Cook if he comes back. But this helps make this offense so much more dynamic that they don't need to put it all on Josh Allen's shoulders. I mean, if you watch the game, if you especially watched this last game, Ray Davis was fantastic. They ran the ball. They want to try and alleviate Josh Allen a little bit, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's Allen putting the entire team on his back. He's a tank. He's just an absolute monster out there, but eventually, even a tank can break down, wear down, and this is a smart move by the organization to go get a receiver that was easily available. I mean, this thing is pretty, simple to break down. And in hindsight, we should have been calling for it, expecting it a little bit more than we were, just because the Browns were trying to get rid of Amari Cooper in that Ayuk trade. And that was potentially as good as done, but Ayuk squashed it. The only reason this didn't make a whole lot of sense is because, from a faraway lens, is because, the Browns got worked. We should have known that was coming. But the Browns wanted Ayuk back in the other trade. Clearly, they're in decimation mode right now. And so they weren't interested in necessarily getting somebody back. But this is a debacle over in Cleveland. Just one bad thing after another. Deshaun Watson's the worst quarterback in the NFL. And I remember taking a little heat for saying that last year, saying that Deshaun Watson wasn't even worth starting as an NFL quarterback. And he is one of the worst quarterbacks in the last decade. He's not just the worst quarterback in the National Football League today. Deshaun Watson is statistically, there's a lot of categories you can look at. Just pick one where he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the last decade in the NFL. And his team is married to him because of their $230 million guaranteed contract that he's still ticking away $47 million a year, I believe it is. 47 or 48 million a pop. Every single year, that's what this guy's getting paid in this Cleveland Brown organization. I feel bad for the Cleveland Brown fans. They deserve better. The Cleveland Brown fans are good fans. They're loyal fans, and they have a home here. But it doesn't mean I'm going to speak lightly about this situation just because we have Cleveland Brown fans here. You're welcome here. You could come trash your own team in this environment if you want, but the Browns are an absolute debacle. And the fact that this coaching staff can't even bench Deshaun Watson because the ownership and the brass won't allow it is an even further debacle. Just married to this horrible quarterback that can't do anything right. And you're going to continue to run him out there? What a bad product. The Cleveland Browns should be ashamed of themselves. Just a horrible product they put on the...
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Let's break down what this means real quickly, then we answer super chats, maybe take a few phone calls. But at the end of the day, Josh Allen's value goes up. How much? I don't even know. I don't think any of us really know because we don't know. Are they going to use Amari in a way that makes him a wide receiver one in fantasy? Probably not. Maybe. It's hard to know. Amari could be a top 8 wide receiver, or he could be like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't know. He's really good. Amari Cooper's really good. The problem is he's been in some weird spots, right? He's been in a Raiders uniform. He's been traded. He's been, he's dancing all around the league. I think, this situation is a really good one. And I think we'll get to see not only Amari Cooper play well, but we'll see him play in an environment that is finally conducive to his skill set in a way that I think not only vaults him up as a number one, but and he was in Oakland or wherever. I think it was Oakland back then. He was a good Raider, but he wasn't a great Raider because he didn't have the proper support, the support he'll have in Buffalo. He's now a wide receiver one. He's now on a winning team. This is like Adams. Adams goes from a mess, a debacle, a disaster, a black hole of a situation over in LV into a very, very productive environment. And I think the new coaching staff in New York is shaking things up in a way that I think they have a real shot. They do. They got to win. They're digging themselves out of a hole, but the Jets have what they need to do it, at least. They have the tools to do it. I think Buffalo, you can't think of a better situation for a receiver to go to than Buffalo. Even though they are running a lot, mixing it around a lot, I think that's kind of out of necessity. And Josh Allen will lean on Amari Cooper differently, I think, than we might expect or were afraid could happen. Like, oh, will he just kind of rotate around still? I don't know. I think he will lean on him. I think he will target him. I think Josh Allen's good enough. Look what he did to Stephon Diggs. And everyone says that Diggs made Allen. That's BS. It's a big bunch of BS. Josh Allen made Diggs. You can say whatever you want in the chat. I'm not saying Diggs didn't walk out of the situation capable of supporting himself and being good on his own, stand alone. I'm not saying that. But Josh Allen was not made by Diggs. Okay? Diggs was brought over as a good receiver from Minnesota, and he became an amazing receiver. They helped each other, no doubt. They definitely supported each other. 100%. Like every player is supporting another player. You can't have Peyton Manning without Marvin Harrison Jr. to the full extent you had Peyton Manning, but you can't sit here and say that Marvin Harrison Jr. made Peyton Manning. Nobody makes this man Josh Allen. He makes you. You get Josh Allen a coffee. He doesn't get you a coffee. And if anybody thinks he's not capable of reverting back to feeding a wide receiver elite production, they're not giving this kid enough credit, because Allen's capable of doing it. Do I think it happens here right out of the gate? I don't know. It could. I think we'd be reckless and foolish to not expect the possibility that Amari Cooper from the jump is a top 12 wide receiver. But I think it's also foolish in turn to expect it like full go without any hesitation or expectation of ups and downs or maybe a slow start or whatever. But Amari Cooper is a veteran that's played with many different quarterbacks, that's navigated around the NFL many different times. And this man right here has been dealing with revolving doors and change. It's kind of a match made in heaven, if you ask me, to give this man, Josh Allen, a receiver that can handle this kind of change. Throw him into cold water, throw him into hot water. Amari Cooper might handle it like a champ. Pretty amazing. Let's go ahead and let's answer some of these super chats that are sitting here waiting for the taking. We've got Wes with the 2. He says, I was offered Lamb and Pollard for Devontae Smith. Lamb for Pollard and Devontae Smith. Wes, what in the hell would make you think I would want to send or approve lamb chops, sending away my best buy low wide receiver of the week, the top wide receiver to buy low on the week? Send this guy over because Pollard's involved. Let's downgrade Lamb into Devontae Smith. I love Devontae Smith because we're getting Pollard. Wes, absolutely no. Not even close, Wes. Not even close. What do you think Cooper will free up Kincaid? Maybe this could be the formula we need. The one thing we got to remember with Kincaid is this offense is kind of in scramble mode. That's not the best way to describe it. It's in scramble mode. It's constantly scrambling around. There's kind of chaos. It's kind of organized chaos. It's kind of Josh Allen driven chaos, directed and conducted by Josh Allen. It's possible that the consistency of a receiver could open the door to touchdowns for Kincaid, and it can only get better for Kincaid from here. So I'm open-minded that this is a good thing for Kincaid more than a bad thing. And I don't think it's good for Coleman. I don't think it's necessarily that horrible for the run, but it definitely doesn't help the run. There's no way they run more by getting Amari Cooper. I think that it may not be as devastating to the run as it is to, let's say, Coleman or Shakir. Should I do Gibbs and Wandell for Godwin? No, I would not trade Gibbs for Godwin. I know some people would off of the big play lately, but I'm not trading that. Traded Bigsby and Downs for Barkley. Come on, stop, Racing Boy. Just stop. Even if you did that, I wouldn't tell anybody, because that's embarrassing. Got offered Lamb for Godwin. You take Lamb. This is ridiculous. You guys are embarrassing yourselves by even asking these questions or even speaking this out loud. Lamb is the best buy low wide receiver in fantasy football right now. It's is this a real league? Is this a real league, Ram? Is this with your mama? Did you make this trade? And I appreciate you. You know I love you, pal. But you got offered Lamb and for Godwin. Take Lamb. Take Lamb. Don't chase the points. You don't get Kraft and Dell for Cooper. That's a good one. I would say, if you need a tight end, the Kraft and Dell side's better by a hair. But if you are good at tight end, you've got two of them, you're trading this combo away. Anybody, if this applies to anybody, and you get a Cooper back, it's an intriguing side of the fence to attack. I think it's pretty even, though. Bucky, should I do any trades? I have JD5, Brees, JT, Debo, Metcalf, Dell. Should I drop Shaheed for Njoku? No, I wouldn't drop Shaheed for Njoku. You can't have just these players. You got to have somebody else you can drop. This would be the smallest bench in the history of mankind if this is the only players you rostered. I guess if you need a tight end, I don't know that you have McBride. I probably would be interested in this, but not using Shaheed. And as for any other trades, you could open up a spot with a trade, but I would say this team's pretty well-rounded. I think if I'm trying to trade anybody, maybe a James Cook or a Jacobs with potentially you could send McBride shopping or packing, then pick up Njoku if you wanted. You could try and couple Cook and Jacobs together to get somebody like a Gibbs. Clearly Gibbs is on the low, Bucky. Look at all the horrible Gibbs conversation we're having right now where we're tossing this guy around like a ham sandwich, like a warm ham sandwich. It's wild that Gibbs is so readily available. Sun God for Neighbors. I'd probably rather have Sun God because he's had his bye and it's out of the way, and there's still some ambiguity going on right now with Neighbors. I'm a little bit perplexed by the situation. Not to suggest that I'm worried long term, but I would rather have the bye week out of the way, and St. Brown's still a first round investment that I think isn't like an overspend like that we regret. Neighbors is still a top 6 to 10 wide receiver. Took your advice, traded Bijan and Higgins for Breece Hall, but had to add Jonathan Brooks. Why did you have to add Brooks? I don't know. That's definitely I definitely still probably would have done it at the end of the day, but you definitely made that a good trade for them. Patty, Caleb, Gibbs, Breece, good team though, man. Del Puka, your receivers could use an upgrade, like maybe a Ladd and Chase Brown for a doubted Tyreek Hill, or an injured but still very, very amazing Mike Evans that I think some people would run away from. There's got to be some other wide receivers that you could go after. Let me see if I can pull up the wide receiver ADP rankings that will help me decide these go forward ADP rankings. Some of that comes to mind would be like a potential Cooper Kupp, Nico Collins on the cheap would be a good move for you, bro. But yeah, you did a good job on that. At the end of the day, it's still a great team. Have Cooper, Evans, Lamb, Puka, London, Henry. Chris, I don't know if you're asking a question here or just telling me who you have. Have Cooper, Evans, Lamb, Puka, London, Lamb for Henry. Oh, let's see here. Have Cooper, Evans, Lamb, Puka, London, Lamb for Henry. Bro, you got to use some punctuation here. You talk about trading Lamb for Henry. I would say give me... I guess give me Henry the way he's playing, but I think Lamb is extremely undervalued. I like them about equal, truly, but Lamb, you can get more for Lamb in a trade right now. You can get Lamb in something in a trade. So Henry's got more trade value. Henry's more valuable. That side's more valuable. I'll say that. But doesn't mean that I don't, like, let's say in the flip side, if I'm trading away Henry for Lamb, I can get more in that side. With getting more could be better. 10-man PPR 2 and 4. Murray, Achane, Pollard, Mason, CMC, Hunt, Mostert, Tracy. Neighbors, Cup, MHJ. Trade targets. Move on from Murray. I mean, look, it's early. And 2 weeks ago, you loved Murray. Everybody loved him. He's a top 5 QB. Oh, my God, what an amazing quarterback. And now everybody's running away after a couple bad games. But I'm not sure I'm moving on. Like, what are you going to do? Mahomes, sure. Murray for Mahomes, do it straight up. Murray and somebody small for Mahomes, sure. I'd do Madison, throw him in. A Tracy, I'd even consider that. I would be okay with that move. I think Mahomes, with the bye week out of the way, that might be your best move, plan of attack. I like that idea. But I'm not scared. I'm not scared to keep Kyler either. 16-man league, Burrow, Bijan, Jacobs, Cup. Trade my Bijan, Benson, and Dobbs for Gibbs, Brooks, and J-Mo. Of course, I would take the Gibbs side. This Gibbs stuff is out of control. It's so wild that people are thinking Gibbs is second fiddle to Monty. No one's in that statement's not to suggest Monty standalone isn't as good or right there, or But to suggest that Monty makes Gibbs lesser, was anybody alive last year? Was everybody in a coma? Did anybody realize that Monty did what he did while Gibbs did what he did? What are we doing here? We're attacking Gibbs is what we're doing. Trade Kupp, Tyreek, and Pittman for JD5, Cooper, and CMC. Give me Kupp and Tyreek. Or is that Eckler? I thought that was never mind. It's Eckler. Eck. I thought you were saying Reek. Kupp, Eckler, Pittman for JD5, Cooper, CMC. I probably take the JD5, Cooper, CMC side. Yeah. Love the content. The content loves you back. Purdy's your only core. Yeah, you got to do that right now at least. This one here, need to win this week with Fields being benched. Not yet. They're considering it. Okay. Goff, Rodgers, Darnold, May, Stafford. I'd probably go Goff. Goff, my boy. Look, he's so capable of having like 3 TD game, you know. Trade Jacobs and Reed for Gibbs. Or trade Bucky and Reed for Nico. I want to do both. I wish you could do both. Bucky and Reed for Nico is great. I take the Gibbs trade, though. And I try and get that Nico trade done, though. Any trades for CD, I'd probably say, you know, Mixon for CD I would do personally. Jacobs, you're trading Jacobs away already, so you can't do that. But, like, BT and something else that remains on the roster, Bigsby, whatever, to try and get Lamb, but I don't know. Maybe you can do a 2 for 2, JT and BT for Lamb and something, but you're gonna be hard pressed to get him in that situation unless you give up one of the studs, which I don't necessarily want you to do, but I'd do that first trade. My running backs are Kyron, Bijan, CMC, Mason, Stevenson, and my is Kraft. Your tight end is Kraft, I think you're trying to say. Would you trade Swift for Bowers in this case? I don't hate it, but you have Kraft. I'd probably say I leave Kraft and Swift in the lineup. I'd maybe try and trade Swift into JT, try to trade Swift into Gibbs, into Achane before I'm making that move, just because you're already good with Kraft. I'm fine with Kraft. Kraft is a good tight end. I have Godwin and they offered Gibbs and Wandell. Again, I'm taking Gibbs and I'm running. I'm not even saying, it's cool. I'm running. I know we all love what Godwin's done. You get to keep those points. I'm not saying Godwin's trash either, but Gibbs is a top 5 running back. Should I trade Kupp and Dobbins for Barkley? Yes, I would rather have Barkley. Barkley's got the bye week out of the way. It's perfect, bro. 3-3, half PPR, Kyler, Fields, Achane, Brees, Hunt, Debo, Smith, Likett, McLaurin, McBride. Nice team looking to upgrade a wide receiver. What's Hunt's price? Hunt will get you maybe a Collins hurt. Go get Nico Collins, bro. Wait on that. Wait on that, Shiat. You got to throw in something else? Throw it in. Throw in Hawkinson? Sure. I love that idea. Maybe even Puka if you're feeling a little frisky. And then past that, MHJ. I'd trade for MHJ. I put a $5 on your pick 5 for Sunday. Now I've got some extra fun money. You put $5 on my picks. Congratulations, bro. We smashed all 5 of them. Joe will be doing another set this week. I've got extra fun money this week. Thanks, Smitty. Hope you have a great week. Thank you for tossing some of it back, Joe. Joe to the moon. Joe tailed my picks and smashed. What a monster. What a monster. This Gibbs stuff is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Jacobs and Chase Brown for JT. It's as ridiculous as the Josh Allen hate the few weeks in a row that we've had. Josh Allen, he might not be that guy anymore. Like, it's just ridiculous. Gibbs, really? Really? It has no effect on Monty. Stop. If anybody's saying, I don't know if anybody's in the chat doing it right now, Monty, who cares if Monty is irrelevant? He's amazing. Monty is fine. There's nothing wrong with Monty, but Monty and Gibbs coexist. They always have. It's ridiculous. You can love Monty and Gibbs at the same time. Jacobs and Chase Brown for JT. Give me JT. I need a wide receiver 1. What can I get for Kyler, MHJ, Stack? Hill. Cup. London. DK. DK's very attainable right now. Tab F with the $20 super chat. Yo, Smitty, I start Amari over Tyreek this week. We got to wait and see on the news on Amari. Snap count, eased in. We don't know. We don't know. I would say right now, no. But let's wait and see. But Hill's kind of tough to bench ever. I don't care how he's played. He's had big games before without quarterbacks, bro. So do not write him off. Start 2 running backs, B-Rob Jr., Brian Robinson Jr., Najee, Bigsby, Tracy. Probably Tracy and this week, Tracy and B-Rob or Tracy and Bigsby. Chat, can we vote on B-Rob or Bigsby? Bigsby or B-Rob Jr., please, in the chat. If we could get a little vote action on that. Wes, should I trade away Pollard and Devontae Smith for Lamb? Yes, if you like winning, Wes, do that trade and do it live. Likely, Worthy, or Ferguson, JSN. I go Likely and Worthy. Bigsby, McLaurin, or Cup. Give me Cup. But I love both sides on that second one. 10-man PPR 2 and 4. Love Mahomes, HN Hall, Jacobs. Okay. MHJ, Evans, Reed, Tracy. Any moves? Maybe you're trying to move, let's say, Jacobs. Keep HN and Hall and Mahomes. Love if somebody needs a quarterback, unless it's super flex. If it's not super flex, try and trade Love to somebody that's QB needy. That opens the door to even more value. Jacobs and Love, etc. That would be good. Love and maybe Love and Tracy, Jacobs and Tracy, Garrett Wilson and Jacobs for one big dog like Lamb, who's clearly doubted. People are giving away Lamb, it appears. AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jacobson, Garrett Wilson for DK and something. You want to get more, but I give this up for Lamb or Gibbs or, obviously you have Achane, but all those players I would give up that combo for in a heartbeat. 12-man half PPR, Dak, Jordan Addison, Waddle, Lamb, McConkey, Jacobs, Bigsby, Bucky, Irving, ETN, Javonte Williams. What moves, if any? I'm not going to lie to you, pal. This is a tough team. I don't know that this team's winning it, and I don't know that you have the ability to do a single thing to do anything about it unless you trade Lamb to somebody that will value him. There's no way this team's winning without that. You might have to wait a week for it. But Lamb for 2 players like DK and a running back like, it has to be big, bro. DK and Achane, DK and Mason, DK and Walker. DK and Walker, go to the Walker owner, go to the DK owner, see if you can do it in advance, but you need something like that or you're not winning. This is just the blunt truth of that team. Got offered Hawkinson. Wait a week if you have to, though. Got Hawkinson and for Kincaid and Downs for Myers. I would take Kincaid's side. I would take the Downs side. I'm not running toward Myers, and I'm not running away from Kincaid for Hawkinson, who's injured. Yeah, coming back from an ACL tear. Would you trade Bigsby and Bijan for Kyron? If I like winning, I would trade to get Kyron, yes. This one here from my boy, or actually this is from the family, from the Mirison family. Would you trade McLaurin for Amari Cooper? No. Look, McLaurin's going crazy, bro. Absolutely not. Ayuk for Henry, 10-team Superflex. 11 Dynasty. It's a Dynasty League. If I could win cash money, I'd take Henry. But in a Dynasty, you can't trade Ayuk for Henry in a Dynasty. You just can't. But if you can win a bunch of cash money, I do it because the money's sitting right in front of you and you can win. Non-PPR, get CD for Metcalf and Jacobs. I take CD and I run. CD's the best value in fantasy right now, and Gibbs is the second best value. 10-man league, Goddard got hurt, so now I'm 5-1. Best available tight ends on waivers are Conklin, Otten, Henry, and Fant. I'd probably go Otten or Henry in that order. That's probably what I would do, my guy. Thank you, Skydad. Appreciate you with the super chat. And Mr. $10 hauler, Allen, Bijan, Hall, Gibbs. Wow, Achane. If you could play all those running backs, I'm not even trading one. And then Neighbors, London, DK, Dell, Worthy. You're set. Can't seem to trade up wide receivers. You don't need to trade up. I mean, look, just wait on Neighbors. You'll be fine. London's playing out of his mind. DK's underperforming, but it's fine. You got elite. You got 3 wide receiver ones in fantasy. DK's a wide receiver 1. He might be a low end, but he's a wide receiver 1. You don't need to make a single trade. Just got dismissed AJB for DK, London, and Bucky. Bro, just stand down. I think you messing with this team is the problem. Just leave it. You have the best depth and the best balance I've seen in a while. I would let that team ride. No matter how it's done so far, just know it's a great team. Achane and Neighbors for Gibbs and DK. Give me Gibbs and DK. But Achane, it's very close. Even Steven. I'd be fine with either side of that. But number one, I love Achane. He's got the bye week out of the way, and I love Neighbors. Neighbors is dealing with the concussion situation. Is just a little bit weird. But Gibbs is bye week free, and DK's an undervalued monster that people are giving no respect right now, and they don't realize. Box score Bobbies don't get that DK had 2 touchdowns and 100 yards last week. All kind of called back, and it didn't happen. It should have happened. Monty for Gibbs. Tater, what do I look like? I've only been saying it over and over and over all show. I love you, pal, Tater, but Gibbs. He's the best buy. He's a top 5 running back. Monty might be a top 8 to 12 running back in fantasy going forward, and that's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's not hatred. That's not... Smitty doesn't like Monty. I love Monty. They're both running back 1s. Like in fantasy, Monty's a running back 1 in fantasy. Probably one of the last of the 11-12 range, but he's in my top 10 to 12, 9 to 12 running backs. Gibbs is top 5. And for anybody that thinks that they can't coexist in that exact fashion, where Monty's top 12 and Gibbs is top 5, I revert you to last year's film. And we are 6 weeks in and people are freaking out when Gibbs was just fine. There's nothing to worry about with Jahmyr Gibbs. The only thing you need to worry about is how much you need to give up to get him cheap. Just discovered this channel, subscribed. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate you. And join the Patreon too. Monster. Matthew, I'll see you on the Patreon. 12-team Superflex want to offer Cousins and Pollard for Mahomes. Overpay? Hell no, that's not an overpay. Matthew, let the haters hate on Mahomes. Go grab him, do it live, do your worst, get it done. I love the thinking. Matthew coming in hot. Minding my own. Thank you for the super chat. We got a few here. Dalton with the $10 hauler, half PPR. Who can I trade 2 and 4? QBs, Goff, AR5, Jamar, Amon-Ra, Neighbors, Debo, Waddle. Love the team. I'm trying to trade like Waddle. I would maybe trade Amon-Ra or Debo. I don't know that I trade Neighbors on what it will be somewhat of a low, even though he's, he still commands a lot, but like people are scared to trade for him. Keep Jamar, keep Neighbors, try and keep one of Debo or Amon-Ra, and try and keep both if you can play them all. And I try and use Waddle and Connor, Waddle and JK to get that one JT, that Achane, that Gibbs. But if you need to use Amon-Ra to get Gibbs, I would. If you need to use Debo to get Gibbs, I would. I would use Waddle and Connor, Waddle and JK to get Achane or to get JT. Those would be my moves, my guy. This one right here, 2 QB, 4-2 record, trade or hold. CMC, Nico on IR, Baker, Goff, Evans, Higgins, Mostert, Pollard, Braylon. Not a lot of trade power here, my guy. I hate to tell you, there's not a lot you can do. Pollard or Chubo with Higgins for that JT, Achane, Gibbs, Tyreek Hill. Past that, you're kind of in hold mode, but those are good opportunities for you. Allen, Mason, Kyron, Cup, Reed, MHJ, Pittman, Tracy, AR5, 5-1. Should I trade for Cooper? If so, what is the value? Eckler, Tracy, Kincaid, and Pittman. Reed is probably, I'd have Reed a little higher. Cup, I'm not trading. Kyron, I'm not trading. Mason, I'm not trading. Allen, I'm not trading. MHJ, I'd rather have MHJ, even though it feels like it's not great right now. I don't know. Juju and Kincaid, Pittman and Juju. Tracy and Juju, Tracy and Pittman, those are stabs in the dark, but the problem is you're trying to get a guy that just got traded and the buzz is crazy and everybody will kind of want him at this point. I don't know you're going to get it done. Would I trade MHJ for Cooper? If you feel like that's the move for you, I wouldn't Smitty approve it, but I don't disapprove it. I think it's not a horrible move. I like MHJ for the long term still this season, meaning, of course I love him in Dynasty, but I like him for the season long term. I still believe in MHJ. He showed tremendous signs of exploding. And on top of that, it's like we've seen Jamar Chase, his rookie year was an absolute slump fest. He crawled into the finish and exploded and won people leagues. Zay for Higgins, I would rather have Higgins by I'd rather have Higgins by a hair. Dynasty trying to sell Zay. I'd definitely sell Zay. I'd even think about going after older players in that and just, grab a guy that has 2 or 3 years, like Debo, for example. I'd rather have Debo over Zay. Thoughts on Jacksonville and Tampa backfield? A mess. Bigsby for a few weeks, and then we'll see what's what. Tampa's a 3-headed monster. It went from being a really good situation for Bigsby to now being a 3-headed monster. 10-man league, and to explain to Zay Flowers, it's not that I hate Zay Flowers. He's a moon man. We were on the Zay Flowers train before anybody. Period. Can't even argue that point. But it's a problem that is a Lamar Jackson problem. And that he spreads the ball around and never produces top 25 wide receivers, and they're a run-first situation. That's what the problem is. 10-man league, says Dalton. Dalton, I don't know what that means. If it's relating to another question, that question is long gone, my guy. You got to have a self-contained question, but I don't think it would have changed any of my advice. Waiver wire, Bigsby or Amari Cooper. I'd rather have Amari Cooper right now. Superflex, Allen, T-Law, Fields, drop Fields for May. Probably right now. Yeah, you kind of have to anticipate. PPR 10 team, Allen, running back Kyron, Etienne, Najee, Bucky, Tracy, Nico, London, Higgins, Amari. Nice team, tight end Kraft. Okay, starting Kyron, London, Higgins, and Amari at flex. Need help with the running back too. So Kyron, Etienne, Najee. You got to go Najee or Tracy. Let's see here. Starting Kyron, London, Higgins, and Amari. You're going to go Tracy for right now. Tracy's a good play, bro. Right now, he's a good play. I'm not even worried. Would I trade Tracy and Amari for Walker or JT or obviously, yes, Achane, obviously Gibbs. But Walker would be appealing if you're in a trade market. You could even trade Tracy and Higgins for Achane or JT or I would trade Amari and Tracy for Gibbs just to give you some trade advice. But Tracy's a fantastic play, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you. Ethan with the $10 hauler. Team is running back Kyron, Bijan, Mason, Swift. What moves to make? Tight ends Kraft. I'd probably say Adams is a good trade piece right now with the buzz. Adams and Swift for a monster like Gibbs. Adams for Hill. Adams in Irving, or Adams in Wandell, or Adams in somebody for Hill, something like that. Adams for Evans. I still think I'd trade Adams. Adams and Swift for a bigger dog would be what I would want to do. A Gibbs, a buy low on Gibbs. That would be my prerogative right now. What are your thoughts on MHJ, and is he top 15? Yeah, I think he's easily a top 12 wide receiver. It's just right now he's concussed, and it's going to take him time. But I think that even if it took 2 weeks for him to get back right, this week he's out and he takes another week, it's still enough time for him to explode. But it's frustrating. And if you could get rid of him, let's say for a Cooper straight up, and you wanted to do that, I wouldn't love it, but I wouldn't Smitty approve it, but I wouldn't disapprove it. But I'd rather have Cooper. I'd rather have Nico Collins than MHJ. I'd rather have Cooper in a vacuum. But 2-3 weeks from now, I'd rather have MHJ. So this is a now problem. Do you need wins? Are you losing? Can you not afford a loss and waiting on MHJ? But if you can afford to wait on MHJ, I'd rather have MHJ over Cooper. But if I need something now, Cooper. And, would I rather have Nico over MHJ or Cooper? The answer is yes. I would wait on it. Puka Nakua over MHJ is interesting as well because you're waiting on MHJ, you're waiting on Puka. It could line up perfectly. Chase Brown, Ladd, Caleb for Kupp and Ray Davis. I would rather have Kupp and Ray Davis, assuming we're not trading away your starting quarterback. A $20 hauler from Sam. Appreciate you, Sam. I have JD5, AR5, Mahomes, Knicks, Bijan, Brees, Kyron. Nice team. Okay, Brooks, your wide receivers are Worthy, Terry, Ayuk, Wicks, is Crafty, Laporta. I like your team currently 2-4 dynasty format. Not dynasty, nice. I would be tempted to trade Terry in dynasty on the high because he's older. With a Brooks, gives the person some dynasty value to get that HN, that Gibbs. I'd be very tempted to trade McLaurin and maybe a potential. Damn, what do you do here? God, Kyron, Bucky, Brooks. I'd be very tempted trying to go get a Lamb right now. I don't know. Ayuk and Brooks could maybe get that done in dynasty. I think it's possible at least. This one here from Oscar. Oscar, appreciate you. Hunt and Devontae Smith for MHJ and Mahomes. QB is Kyler. I don't know that you need a QB in that situation. MHJ and Mahomes, Hunt and Devontae Smith. It's close, bro. You're kind of playing with fire both ways. Like you don't need the QB, but I love Mahomes and MHJ is injured right now. Hunt is playing great. I would say that Hunt and Devontae Smith and Kyler is smarter, to be honest with you, but I think 2 weeks from now I could love the trade. It just again comes down to if you can't afford L's, you need to keep that Hunt side probably and keep Kyler rolling. 12-team PPR, but Mahomes is bye week free. That is a huge advantage. I'm okay with the Mahomes side if you're willing to roll the dice. 12-team PPR, 2-4, but I feel good about my team heading into week 7. Any moves, would you stand on Hurts, Tua, Kyron, HM, Bucky, Bigsby, Corum, Wright, Braylon, Cup, Neighbors, Worthy? Love the team. Kincaid, Hawkinson. I like this squad. Kyron, HM, I like it. I'm going to say hold. In order to make a move, you'd have to get rid of one of these like Neighbors, Cup pieces. I don't want to. Kyron, HM, Hurts, I love it. Bye week free, Hurts. Let's go. Stand down, Murph. Murph, that is a stand-down team if I've ever seen one. I usually have something to say. I don't there. 2-4, Purdy, Baker, Mahomes, Amon-Ra, Reed, Cup, Worthy, Tolbert, Bijan, Mason. Any recommendations? Trade for RB, ride it out. I'd probably say with this squad, I like it. I like the receiving room a lot. Bijan, Mason. I'm trying to get Mason into Achane or Gibbs. If I can't, maybe a Walker. And if you have to give up something like Worthy, I consider it, but I almost would say that's my only request. Or I'm trying to get Bijan into Gibbs, and you might have to do a 2-for-2 somehow, like Reed and Bijan for Gibbs and somebody. Or Mason and Reed for Gibbs and somebody, or Achane and somebody. Past that, I'm probably holding. It's a good squad. I don't dislike it at all. Okay, 12-team league, 900 of you in here. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that thumb up button. Appreciate you. 12-team made a few trades recently. Do I stand pat? JD5, Bijan, Brees, Neighbors, DK, Hill, Kittle. Love the team. Tracy. The only thing I'm even remotely looking at all, is Bijan and let's say Tracy or Dell and Bijan or something to maybe, because I like Neighbors. I like Hill. I like that, bro. Love DK. Love JD5. Love Brees. Bijan into Gibbs. Bijan into Achane. Using maybe a Tracy. Preferably not Dell, but I'd use Dell if I needed to. That's it. Upgrade Bijan. I'm not saying I hate Bijan. I love Bijan, but there is some value in some of those. Like Gibbs, I just want Gibbs over Bijan by a mile. And it's not a knock on Bijan. It's just safety. 1-5 deep bench 12-man league. I think you can maybe even get Gibbs in a Bijan swap straight up right now. Bijan had a 2-touchdown game. I'm not saying it won't continue, but I'm very into grabbing Gibbs on the low, trading Bijan on the high if it makes sense, and it does in that swap. And Tracy might get it done. Deep bench 12-man league. Fortunate weeks. Mahomes, Fields, Bijan, Chase Brown, Dell, Cup, MHJ, Kincaid. What moves can you possibly make? Get the Gibbs Bijan swap if possible. That's again, I'm going to give that to you as well. I don't know what you'd give though. You know, like I don't want you giving up a Cup or a Dell. You can't afford it. Chase Brown, you can't really give him up either because who's your running back too if you make that trade? Maybe you could trade Chase Brown and Juju for a Walker if you wanted to get a little crazy there. JT injured, would it be worth it for you? You're 1-5. That's tough. Maybe it's a risk. Trading for Puka Nacua on the cheap would be good for a team like you to have that arsenal, that weaponry later. Getting offered Komet. Who do I drop? Mark Andrews. I mean, he didn't give me any other options. I'd rather have Komet than Mark Andrews for right now. Yeah. But, you know, I don't know what other options you have, but sure. If I'm forced to answer that question, you aren't nervous with Lamb, that the offense rest of the season? Wes, no. Nervous about what? That they're going to throw, be losing, playing from behind? I get it, but Lamb is a generational talent, and this has happened before. Josh Allen, Wes, everybody kept telling me about Josh Allen concerns last week. You know, like, no, I'm not worried about Lamb. Not at this cost of entry or this cost of exiting the Lamb situation. People are so fickle to jump off the Lamb train, jump off the Gibbs train. It's wild to me, Wes. It's wild to me that people are thinking that Gibbs is no longer a top 5 running back. That Allen was no longer a top 2 QB. Look at him now. You know, that Lamb's not a top 3 wide receiver. Lamb, it's unbelievable that Lamb is just like this available. And same thing with Gibbs. I have Cooks, Kyron. You have Cooks or Cook? Kyron, Mason, Bigsby, Vidal, Debo. Because the difference between Cook and Cooks is big, John. Reed, Olave, Lamb. Just got offered Nico for Lamb and Bigsby. No, bro. Nico's out 3 more games minimum. No, what are we doing with this Lamb stuff, guys? What are we doing, John? This is for your own good. I love you. I'm not trying to urge you never to super chat again. Just know this is my way of showing gratitude and love and appreciation and support and motivation. But no, John. Kai, Dell, and Garrett Wilson for MHJ. No, don't trade those two for an injured, concussed player who I love. I love MHJ, but I love Dell and Garrett. Garrett's a concern, but you're just trying to give him away. Have Nico, Lamb, DK, Debo try to trade Nico for JT? Yeah, I would. I definitely would. I mean, I love Nico. I'm acquiring Nico. I want Nico on every team right now. Any moves or stay put? Mahomes, Bijan, Mason, Cup, Dell, Keon, Coleman, Kittle, Worthy, Chase Brown, Braylon. I'd probably say you're just trying to get out of Mason or Bijan into a Gibbs or an HN if possible, using smaller pieces. Don't get rid of Dell like he's nothing. Don't try not to get rid of Worthy or Chase Brown like they're nothing. But if you can upgrade, especially in a 2-for-2, like where you give up Bijan and you give up Dell or Worthy for Gibbs and something. Kittle is a good sell high piece. Try and get like a Tyreek Hill and a player and go rogue at tight end. I know Kittle just went nuts, but bro, that's the time to maybe explore selling high on a player. It is what it is, and you get to keep all the Kittle points that you got. You got to let go of that. Like, oh, look what he just did. What he just did didn't matter. What he's going to do matters, and he's still good. He's still amazing, but it's time to shop him if you need to make a move. No one's saying sell Kittle if you're winning. If you got 5 wins, you're about to win the championship, you're on a championship run. But if you're on the struggle bus and you're not on the bus to Mars, you're on the bus to your planet Uranus, you got to make a move, and Kittle's your way in. So we adding or dropping Shakir and Lazard? I mean, I dropping Shakir, I mean, depends on what you're getting, bro. You know, Lazard and Shakir just lost a lot of value. They got kicked in the nutsack. Thank you for the blank super chat there, my guy. Giza, I think is how you say it. Appreciate you. 2 QB, Lamar, Fields, Tua, Godwin, Evans, Debo, Adams, Waddle, Gibbs, Monty, Moss, Kraft, Andrews, Fields News. Trade for a QB or hold. Yeah, go get Mahomes on the cheap. Go get Kyler on the cheap. Those are your 2 best buy lows. Dak will be the next best buy low. And, you know, what do you give up? Waddle. That's what you give up. To try and get something. Waddle and Waddle and Tua, Waddle and Fields. Tua should be back, so don't give up anything crazy. AR5, maybe attempt to go get AR5. Giza with another blank. Appreciate you for dropping the support, pal. I think you might be trying to ask a question, but I don't know. 10-team Superflex Dynasty, Mayfield, Mahomes, Hurts. I love Mahomes and Hurts, bro. It's fantastic. Gibbs, Hall, Zay Flowers, Garrett Wilson, Reed, Rice, Neighbors, AJB, Downs, Kittle. I have 2 25 first rounders and 2 25 seconds. Sitting good. Want any advice? I think with this team, with Hurts, with Gibbs, with Hall, I'm just trying to upgrade Garrett Wilson and Zay Flowers. I love Reed. I'd maybe even trade Rice right now, because he's got the potential suspension coming. You got AJB and Neighbors, though. I'm trying to go get Lamb. Go get Lamb on the cheap using a first rounder and Zay Flowers. Do it live. That's the only focus I have. 10-team Superflex Dynasty. Oh, that's the one I just got. Yeah, definitely get lamb chops on the cheap. Greedy, appreciate you. QB, Allen, Mason, Bigsby, Bucky, Brooks, wide receiver, Scary, Terry, Tyreek, Otten, 6-0, Smitty. Any suggestions? You're 6-0 for a reason. I don't think you should probably touch anything other than maybe trying to get Mason or Bijan into Gibbs. And or Achane, and or because you might do it with both of them. I trade Brooks to get it done. I trade potentially. I would consider Scary Terry to get it done if I could get somebody else in, like a 2-for-2. Well, 5-1 QBs: Baker, Daniels. Halfbacks, huh? Mixon, Jacobs, Allen, Brooks, Cup, Jefferson, Amon-Ra. Love the receiving room, bro. Ingram, Kraft. Maybe trade one of those tight ends. Baker might be a good sell high, believe it or not. I never thought I'd say that. Preseason, I never would have thought I could say that. Jacobs, maybe Jacobs, Dowdle. Jacobs, Dowdle, Brooks. One of those, couple of those guys with a Deontay, with a potential... God, I wonder if you could give up like a Dowdle and Amon-Ra for Gibbs and something, for Achane and something, for Deontay and Dowdle, Deontay and Jacobs for Walker, for injured JT, for that might be where the line's drawn. Joshua, appreciate you. Okay, 10-man league, 4-2. Do I make a move? Hard choices lineup. I'd say 4-2. This squad here: Bijan, Kyron, Achane, J-Mo, Dell, Kraft. I like the team a lot. Bench is Jordan, Mason, Amari Cooper. You're trying to trade Mason and Amari for Lamb. You're trying to trade Amari and Chase Brown for DK. DK's a great buy low. Tyreek Hill's a great buy low. Nico Collins using some of your bench talent. Would I trade Amari for Nico? I would. In your situation, easy. You got so much depth. I think Nico Collins is probably your best target. Racing Boy with his squad, 10-team. The team is now Stroud, Cousins, running backs Barkley, Kyron, Achane, Dowdle, AJ Brown, JJ, Nico, Dell. Yeah, bro, you're not touching that team. Unless you could trade like Olave and Kincaid or Olave and Kraft and, upgrade Stroud into Hurts or AJ Brown or something like that. Past that, you're standing down and riding that depth into the championship, bro. And with the buys and injuries, the depth is your friend. And your team's good enough. You don't need to upgrade anything. 12-man PPR Dynasty League, 3-3. Any trades? Hurts, Pollard, Gibbs, Kyron, Dowdle, Ayuk, Tank. I'd probably be looking to trade like Ayuk and Dowdle for one player, JT and above, Achane, Kyron. Kyron and Gibbs are fantastic. Sorry, you have Kyron and Gibbs. Dowdle and Ayuk for Achane and JT. Kyron, Dowdle and Ayuk for Tyreek Hill. Dowdle and Pickens or Shaheed or Juju. Go get Puka or Collins injured. JT and Reed or Mixon and Reed for Gibbs and DK. Reed and Mixon. JT and Reed. I'd trade Mixon and Reed for Gibbs and DK. Yeah, easily. Easily, broski. Simple. Smash. What do I do with Shakir? Drop him for Juju? Yes. Shakir's not going to be tradable, bro. No one's going after him, so just cut him. Would you do a trade for Action Jackson? Waddle and Bucky. If Action Jackson, you mean Lamar. He's got several nicknames, but I don't ever hear him called Action Jackson anymore. Lamar Jackson, Waddle, and Bucky for Purdy, Olave, and Achane. I'd probably rather have the Achane side. Purdy's still serviceable. He's still very decent. It's not a bad trade. It really isn't. Smitty, are you really winless in Miss Smitty's work league? No, I'm not. I'm not winless, but I'm losing, and it sucks because I've been getting massacred. Yeah, I'm not winless, no, but I'm definitely not. I'm not in first. I'm not in second. I'm not even in third or fourth. It's bad. It's bad because I lost Rice. I don't know how many people I lost, but any moves, 10-man PPR, 4-2, Love, Achane, Dobbins, Pollard, Godwin, Debo, Jefferson, Kraft. Miss Smitty's in first, though. We drafted her an amazing team. And I did have a big, heavy hand in telling her who to pick. That's right. Pollard and Godwin. Godwin and Dobbins or Godwin and Pollard for Lamb. JJ Lamb would be amazing on this team with Debo. Achane, love it. Dobbins and Pollard or Dobbins and Godwin for Gibbs or Achane and something. I think with Godwin and Dobbins, you could get Achane and something. You could turn that into a 2-for-2. Should I trade Hunt and JSN for Amari Cooper? Yes. Tyler, appreciate you. Purdy, JT, Javonte, Neighbors, Ayuk, Kincaid, Worthy sitting on Puka and Brooks, 2-4. League punishment for the loser. What do you do? I don't know, bro. This team's not. I'm sorry, it's not that good. It's solid, but it's not like. I don't know that you have any sell high pieces. JT's hurt. Neighbors is not a sell high right now, but he's not somebody you get rid of. Ayuk doesn't have any value right now to trade massively. You're gonna try and trade like Brooks and Ayuk for Lamb, Gibbs, Achane, swing big. You gotta wait. You gotta wait till JT gets some value. Maybe when Neighbors explodes again next week, you flip them for 2 players. That is probably your saving grace next week. I don't think there's a lot for you to do this week. You gotta let those guys bounce back, or you're gonna end up taking a bath on a trade and having less value to maneuver around. AK Amari for MHJ Neighbors. I'd rather have AK Amari by quite a bit. That's a good side of that trade. 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs. Godwin, Puka, Worthy, Downs. Really want to roll rest of season with my running backs, but definitely need a wide receiver, okay? Collins, I love going and getting Collins, bro. You're 3-3, you can kind of weather it. Godwin for Puka, Worthy, Downs. I don't know that you're going to be able to... I'm going to tell you this right now, bro. I'm not trading your running backs. And without trading your running backs, you don't have any trade value. Godwin is the only thing you have. Could you get Nico Collins and something serviceable to replace Godwin for now while you wait for Nico? I do that. Would I trade Godwin for Lamb? 100%. 100%. If I got to give up Downs or even Bucky or Worthy or another piece, I probably would do that for Lamb. I want lamb chops, bro. Any moves, 10-man, 4-2, Love, Achane, Dobbins, Pollard. Trade Pollard or Dobbins with Godwin for Lamb. Cooper and DJ Moore straight up. I want Cooper. Kyler, running backs, Gibbs, Monty, Achane, Kupp, Nico, Evans. Stand down. Love the team. Moving anything is going to create a bigger hole than fixing whatever you're trying to fix. Fire, appreciate your $20 hauler. Would you do Scary Terry and Laporta for Adams and Ferguson? I want Scary Terry and Laporta by quite a bit. Love from the Bay Area. Thank you for your super chat. By quite a bit, bro. Laporta is so discounted right now. Bobby, appreciate you. Hey, Smitty from England, please rate your team. QB, love Kyler, Bijan, Jacobs, Mason. Wide receivers, Reed, McLaurin, Flowers. I'm trying to trade Flowers and Garrett Wilson or Garrett Wilson. Keep Reed, keep McLaurin if you can, but Flowers and Garrett Wilson with Jacobs for a JT, for a Gibbs, for an Achane. Those are all very attainable players. Maybe even Walker to some degree. Walker and a player, maybe in some sort of crafty 2-for-2. Trade one of the quarterbacks if anybody's QB needy. Trade Bijan for Gibbs if you've got to give up, let's say, honestly, I'd give up Bijan and Flowers for Gibbs and something small. I try and trade for Nico on the cheap using Flowers, to be honest with you. Or Garrett Wilson for Nico. I'd do either one of those. Those sound crazy to some people, but not to me. And Mad Max, appreciate your $10 hauler. Mad Max says, which wide receivers would you not send with Chubb for London? Would I not send? So Chubb and Higgins for London, I'd do it. Waddle, I would trade any one of those receivers, except for maybe BT and Chubb for London. Maybe I still do that. That's tough. I'd probably rather have London than BT by a hair, but just because BT's a rookie. So I'd say the answer is I'd trade any one of those wide receivers, not multiple, but any one of them for London, most likely. Vampy coming in with a $10 hauler, 6-0, but getting lucky. Any moves? I would say keep Brees, Jacobs or Chase Brown with Brian Thomas Jr. So Jacobs or Chase Brown with Brian Thomas Jr. for that wide receiver upgrade, that Tyreek Hill or above. Obviously, even DK fits the bill. Try and get DK in something if you do a 2-for-2 or something would be better. But Jacobs or Chase Brown with Waddle or BT for a Hill or above. Obviously, you give up, let's say, BT and Jacobs and get Lamb, you can win the league off that kind of move. But you might not be able to get that lucky. You might have to go for a wide receiver like Hill or DK or AJB. Maybe an injured Neighbors right now, somebody would potentially send packing. I think Tyreek Hill is one of the more crafty players to go get in situations like that because he still has, I think people forget, with Tua back, he will still have top 5 wide receiver upside. MHJ Monty or Saquon Jamo. Give me Saquon Jamo all day long. And that's coming from somebody that loves MHJ. What do you do? JD5, Neighbors, Debo, Gibbs, Dobbins, Achane, Kraft, AR5, Juju, also Rice. I'm probably going to stand down on this team unless I can get rid of Dobbins and a player like Juju for a tiny upgrade. But what can you really even get? Nico and wait on him? Puka? Would I trade Dobbins for Puka or Nico? Personally, I would. If I could throw Juju in there, I'd do that 1-for-1 though. Hey, Smitty, have running back depth, but I currently only have Lazard and Adams at wide receiver. Would you give up Kyron and Kraft for Mike Evans and Zay Flowers? No, I would not. Other running backs are David Montgomery and Hunt. I would maybe consider getting, like I said earlier, Hunt for Collins and try and get like some serviceable piece, or maybe the waiver wire can cover you. But I love Nico right now. Monty, I would only trade Monty if I'm getting, let's say, a Hill or a... You could probably get Lamb. Zay Flowers and Monty for Lamb and something. I would go after that package. Absolutely. Crusader said, I missed his super chat. No, I didn't. Dropping Shakira Lazard. I did not miss that one at all. Thank you, though, C-Mac. And yes, we drop. If you took a potty break, we said that those guys are not necessarily guys you need to roster. Cooper. Top 15 wide receiver material, maybe. Maybe not. It's hard to know. Certainly excited for him, and Josh Allen to the moon. This only helps Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Absolute craziness. Trading CD for Amari. Trading CD and Amari? What are you talking about? No. Don't trade CD Lamb. Trade for CD Lamb. Go get CD Lamb on the cheap. Do it live. Do it live. I'll see you all 8 p.m. Eastern. That's me on my horse. As I march, as I gallop toward the 8 p.m. show. See you all at 8 p.m. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. That show is coming up. Also live whenever big news breaks.